My name is Tyler Downey, and I am an illustrator, an animator, and a storyboard artist living right outside of Fitzhugh. Depending on what I'm working on, my creative practice can be anything from graphite sketches to ink splatter to even creating artwork digitally. Currently, I'm writing and illustrating a kid's book that has pretty much been the primary focus of the mentorship program for me. This project actually required me to wear some pretty different hats and pull from some interesting pools of inspiration. For this particular project, I would say most of my inspiration came from Roald Dahl, Dr. Seuss, and some of the Disney classics. A friend actually sent me a link to the mentorship program, and I'm always willing to find new ways to try and develop myself and develop my art, and it seemed like a great opportunity. Sally Tennant Brown is my mentor, and she has beyond exceeded my expectations for the program. So much of my practice has changed from the mediums I prefer to use to my perception of what completed work actually is. Most of all, she helped me develop my own unique drawing style and helped me to use my emotions to guide the pencil rather than getting too caught up with all the what should be. Being an artist for hire has taught me to move quickly and to get things completed under deadlines, which is a great skill to have when you work for somebody, but I started to notice that I would treat my personal projects like they had deadlines and push out finished art that didn't quite meet its full potential. Good things take time, and sometimes I just have to breathe and remind myself that. I plan to finish and publish the current project I'm working on, and following that I have dreams to turn it into an animated film. In the future, I would love to form a team of people that are interested in some similar work and build a studio of my own.
Hi, I'm Charlie McDougall, and I'm a musician based here in Fitzhugh. I play a few different instruments, but I mostly focus on the ukulele. I teach some kids here at school, and I'm part of an orchestra based in Auckland that travels across New Zealand performing for kids. Music is my life. It's something I've always done. It's just kind of always been there. And it's something I like to focus on, because it's how I can put my little bit of good into the world, you know? I joined the Partner Up program because of someone I kind of already considered to be a mentor, I guess. He said it would be a good idea to join, as you could learn something new, meet some new people, see what's happening in a small town. And so I thought I would give it a shot. And I had the absolute pleasure of working with Mr. James Webster. He's such an amazing person. However, because of my age and where we both are in our lives, we couldn't meet up as often as we'd liked. This didn't stop him from teaching me things, though. The few times that we managed to meet, he showed me a bunch of his projects that he's done, and it just cemented in me the fact that that's what I want to be doing, creating projects that make a difference, that do something good. So my next steps would be to find those projects. Whether I keep an ear out and I join them, or I start creating them by myself, doesn't matter. Because if I can put that little bit of good into the world, that's all that matters, isn't it? That's all we're trying to do. Create a difference.
Hi, my name's Jackie, and I live in Tairua. I like to paint. I'm a visual artist. I usually work in acrylics. I choose 3 colours and apply it to a blank canvas. I really have no idea what the painting's going to be about before I start. But as the paint's put on, I start to form an idea. There's things I like, a colour, a shape, a mark, and from there, a story grows. A lot of my paintings have a spiritual content, some don't, but I like to encourage the viewer to engage with the work, and depending on their worldview, their story might be completely different. When I retired and came to live in Tairoa, I joined a community art group, but I hadn't been painting seriously for quite a few years. I tried lots of different things, but I couldn't focus. I started, this wasn't for me. And it was starting to get a bit of a habit. And then I saw the ad for the Creative Coromandel mentoring program. I put in a last-minute application, 3 minutes to the deadline, and found myself on the course. And the rest, they say, is history. So now I have a mentor. We've communicated, visited, talked, listened, discussed. I've been challenged. I've been supported. I've been held accountable. And that's good, because when you're retired, there's always another day, always another week to get started on something. Being accountable to someone, that, I think, has been the biggest thing for me in this program. I've learned that if I want to be involved in art and the creative process, I have to give time to it. I have got the opportunity. I have got the space. So I have to make it happen myself. Nobody else can do that for me. I have to set aside regular time. I have to upskill and do a little professional development in those areas that I've possibly avoided because they're a little hard. But I'm lucky. I do have the time and the space and the inclination to do it. So grasp it, Jackie. Make it happen. I have a particular interest in installation art and certainly would like to do more of that. And as for this beautiful area that we live in, I'm quite interested in exploring the possibility of using nature as the canvas. Just think of all those great expanses of sand at low tide in the area. Now there's a canvas worth considering. Watch this space.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Deborah Hide-Bayne ho. Hello everybody, my name is Deborah Hide-Bayne and I'm based here in beautiful Coromandel town, and I'm an author, artist and photographer. So what's my creative practice? Well, I trained as a fine art printmaker at Central St Martin's in London, and no, actually I don't do a lot of printmaking, but I paint and draw, and I would describe myself as a collector and arranger of things. I'm currently working on a series of really big paintings that are 4 foot square. I was inspired to join the mentoring program because I recently stopped doing a job as a curator, and suddenly I had the opportunity to focus more on my artwork and really see where that could lead, so the timing was just really perfect for me. My mentor was Chris Charteris, which I'm extremely happy about. He's a very lovely man and been very generous with his enthusiasm and information and expertise, and he's really encouraged me to take my art more seriously, to hold myself accountable, and to just be a little bit more bold and a bit more, just to scale up my ideas, I suppose. So if I think about where I was when I started this program and where I am now, I think that I feel much more committed to my art practice. I have a clearer understanding of what I like about the work that I do and what I'm aiming for, and really the body of work that I've been working on over this mentoring time, I've been keeping all together, and I'm going to photograph it, and then pretty soon I'm going to start approaching dealer galleries and see if I can get myself an exhibition. So pretty exciting stuff, and yeah, I'm so very grateful to everyone involved to have had this opportunity.
Kia ora, my name's Heather Watt and I live in the coastal community of Whangamata, and I'm a mixed media artist. I use a variety of product, medium as well as techniques such as inks, lots of acrylic, papers, often some vintage wallpapers, fabrics, etc. Quite a layered, the process takes quite a lot of time. There's a lot of layering up. I like to use not only canvas but certainly some techniques on wood, marine ply or repurposed wood. I love to have a prowl around the demolition yards and see what kind of treasures that I can find to paint on. I guess for me it's creating an element of surprise. At the end of 2019, I decided that I was going to really make 100% commitment to my art practice. So I took a voluntary redundancy from where I was working due to a restructure, and I moved myself permanently to Whangamata. I then joined the art collective group to get to know some people and hopefully, work with some like-minded people, artists here in Whangamata. And it was at one of the meetings that local councillor was there and talked about the Partner Up program. It kind of rang a bell with me and thought, actually, this would be great to get ensconced, in the Creative Coromandel sector. So I rushed home and filled out an application form with all fingers crossed, and I was thrilled to have been given a place as one of the mentees in this program.
My mentor is Annie Smith-Sandano. Annie and I had several phone and Zoom meetings where we discussed such concepts as being an artist, promoting artwork, and how to move forward as an artist, and continuing to gain confidence and belief in that process. It was unfortunate. I'd love to have spent some one-on-one time with Annie, but because of the very strange circumstances of last year, that wasn't possible. Distance and location made that tricky. However, the phone conversations we had were really beneficial. I think with those conversations, along with the workshop days where we as mentees got together, and I certainly met some of the other mentors, and we discussed some issues in depth, I think that it really helped me to kind of gain motivation, grow that confidence as being an artist, and further inspiration to create. I think the combination of those factors were really beneficial to me. It was awesome.
The biggest lesson? Well, I think the biggest lesson for me is to make artwork that you enjoy making. So I've revisited lots of techniques that I practiced a long time ago, and really kind of revisited and consolidated those techniques in the media that I really enjoyed using. So for me, it's kind of having that belief and commitment in what you know is right for you, and again, making that 100% commitment. In the past, I've tried to kind of fit artwork or art making into a whole lot of other activities and work commitments that I had, and it just didn't work for me. So now it's really kind of giving it my all and hugely satisfying. Where to now? Well, I think just continuing to build on the platform that I've already got, have fun, and I guess make it happen.
My name is Amy Rogers. I live in the lovely Coromandel Peninsula around the Coromandel town. My lovely little house, and have a little studio. But I'm currently, this is my temporary home, lovely home in Wellington, because I am a freelancer in prosthetics, makeup for film and television, and currently working for West Studios. So my art practice is mainly acrylic painting on canvas or paper, mainly brown paper, and lots of quite unique pencil drawings. I never felt I was really fulfilling my creativity my own vision, and I wanted to become my own artist. But it seemed to be a little bit more trickier, more challenging than I thought. And yeah, you have to be quite disciplined, and I just needed a bit of helping hand of where I was going in my own work and how to really go to a professional level. Being with my mentor was an amazing experience. It was amazing that someone could dedicate their time just for you, and which felt quite strange. I'm not used to someone completely focusing their time on me, and it was a complete exposure really of yourself and looking at your practice and going forward. And she took me to some experiences that were so special, and yeah, I'll never forget them. You know, going forwards, my plans are that I keep creating and just have the confidence to just go for it, and go big. I was told, create lots of big paintings and just go for it, and that's what I'm going to do.
Hi, I'm Elisabeth Carter, or Liz Carter. I'm based here in the beautiful Coromandel since just before lockdown. I am a painter and a musician and a mosaicer and just a compulsive creative person. So primarily I work in acrylics, but depending I can work in oils, and more recently just playing around with oil pastels, and that's mainly due to constraints in my living space. We're in the middle of renovations. I'm trying to get a new studio up and running, and that's all taking time, so that's okay. If I have to, I'll work in a cupboard, because that's what you do, isn't it? Really thrilled when I just read a thing on Facebook about this mentoring program, because I've kind of been out of touch with the painting side of things. I love mosaicing and gardening and do lots of things, but I found I was really lacking in having a sustainable painting practice, and as I was reading about it, I really felt like it was written for me, so I thought, what the heck, and had a go, and what do you know. So my mentor is Sally Tennant-Brown, and how she's helped me is, well, in many ways, but I think what really comes to mind is being in touch with how I'm feeling and finding a calmness and grounding myself before I start my work. Not being afraid to play around, not concentrating so much on the end result, but enjoying the process, remembering I'm doing this because that's what I love doing. It's not, I'm not doing this for anyone else. So I think as artists we can feel things very deeply, and we're very self-critical and easy to dismiss our feelings. I feel that I'm learning to recognise my feelings as being more valid. I think the really biggest lesson, the really big ultimate lesson is do the mahi, back yourself, do the work, just do it. It doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes a day. It doesn't matter if it's not a beautiful result. Keep doing it, because you will end up seeing how far you've come through having kept on with your practice. Yeah, I'd really like to explore and experiment a bit more with portraiture. Being a new resident of Coromandel, I've just found there's so many characters, quirky people up here. I'd really like to somehow capture that, whether it's true to life or just the spirit. So that's definitely something I want to play around with, and really just keeping up the sustainable art practice, which was part of the reason that motivated me to join, was to try and make this not so much viable but more routine, not being the last thing on my list to do every day, but more a priority of the first thing that I do every day. And if I can maintain that, like in the next year, I'll be really, really happy. The mentoring program for me has been quite life-changing. We all feel scared and it's hard to take that leap, and you have all that self-doubt creeping in, but that's what our mentors are there for. That's the time when you need to get and see them, and they help motivate you and reinforce that conviction that you do have deep inside you, that inner strength, that belief. And I've learnt so many things. I've learnt from my wonderful mentor, met other inspirational mentors and people alike, and met other artists and formed such a neat connection with the other mentees involved that I wouldn't otherwise have had. And I think it's really, really important to keep relationships up with other artists and keep pushing yourself to make that little degree of change that might just take you, in another direction, and who knows where it'll lead.